I had no intention to be a professional DJ.
For a decent club in India, what would your first paycheck potentially look like?
I think as a resident, you could earn anything from 8,000 rupees a month to. I've had conversations sometimes with DJs who say, "Bro, why are you making me play to an empty dance floor? You know my music and bang it." And the point is, my dead grandmother can make a full dance floor dance. So the art of DJing is knowing what to play when, and crucially, what not to play. Everybody who says, Nikhil bhai, मेरे को एक chance चाहिए, मेरे को एक chance चाहिए. But when that chance happens, if you're not the best version of yourself, if you're not ready for that chance, I guarantee you will fail.
The idea is for anybody who is a young person today who is thinking of building a career as a DJ specifically. Let's actually go back to the time where you are studying architecture. From architecture to discovering the fact that there is a potential opportunity in becoming a DJ, how did the opening to that world even come about for you? Let's start there.
Bro, everybody who says, Nikhil bhai, मेरे को एक chance चाहिए, मेरे को एक chance चाहिए, एक chance, मेरे को acting का एक chance चाहिए, singing का एक chance चाहिए, DJ का एक chance चाहिए. Bro, I'm telling you, I believe in manifestation. The chance will happen, 100%. But when that chance happens, if you're not the best version of yourself, if you're not ready for that chance, I guarantee you will fail. Like on the roadies auditions, we would have people say, let me come on to the show. On the show, I'll show you. But over here, I can't do 20 push-ups. So the opportunity to become a DJ didn't exist. Did I see it? Never happened. But what I did through college was, I did architecture because you got to do a degree.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned in my second year of architecture gets applied to many things in my life. I did a radio show when I was in college because I loved presenting, and I had the opportunity to do a show on medium wave in Bangalore.
Right.
There was no FM back then. I emceed shows for pocket money because someone saw me emceeing at a college festival once, and I had a nice voice on the mic, and I sort of capitalized on that. So I built on the strengths that I had while observing what opportunities came by. Somebody would come to me and say, hey, would you like to try this out? And I go, I've never done that, but I'll figure it out. How do you figure it out? By observing the world around you. And the most important factor is the hustle.
Yeah.
You've got to be ready to do anything, anytime, anywhere, work your way up. I've had conversations sometimes with DJs who say, bro, why are you making me play to an empty dance floor? You know my music and bang it. Let me show you what I can do when the dance floor is full. And the point is, my dead grandmother can make a full dance floor dance. That's easy. That's really easy. But bringing the first 5 people onto the dance floor, when it's a big dance floor and the dance floor is empty, that is skill. That is real skill.
According to you, today should be step number 1. What should I do if I wish to become a DJ in India with no context whatsoever?
If you want to become a DJ, there's a very good chance that you probably won't be a very good DJ. Because DJing, maybe like art, is something that comes to you.
Yeah.
And you get drawn into it, you get enthralled by it, you get sucked into that world, and then you become something through it. The DJing and the music and the machines that you use become a form of you expressing yourself. Those are the best DJs in the world.
Yeah.
Having said that, Paris Hilton is a DJ. I'm sure at some point in time she didn't look in the mirror and say, hey, music is what moves me, right? So there's many different ways of becoming, and she is, by some people's measure, a successful DJ. There's some people who say, man, I don't care if nobody hears my music, but this music is what gives me goosebumps. This is the music that keeps me up at night. This is the music that I wake up in the morning and I can't wait to get to my keyboard and make. And I don't care if anybody hears it.
Right.
Power to them for that as well. There are people who will say, I make music and I'm not going to compromise on that, but I would like to get to a larger audience and I would like for more people to hear it. There's a different part to that as well.
Yeah.
So you have to first understand, what is it that you're looking for from your chosen career or your chosen path? If the objective is, man, that guy looks so cool up there, I want to do that.
Yeah.
There's 100 other ways of being cool.
I just want to know step number 1.
Step number 1, understand yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Okay. Step number 2 is go out and listen to as many DJs as you can.
Right.
Because that is when you'll start seeing the patterns. The art form of DJing is essentially programming. Okay. Learning to operate the machines, that is easy. The basic machines, you can learn that in 30 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 days. Beat matching may take another couple of days. If you're using a lot of effects pads and other associated machines, that may take you a little bit longer. But the core art of DJing is knowing, what do I play now? I've got 5,000 songs in my library. I've got 50,000 songs on my computer. Out of those 50,000 songs, it's now 9 o'clock. What do I play at 5 minutes past 9? So the art of DJing is knowing what to play when, and crucially, what not to play. The third most important thing that I would suggest to any DJ who wants to become a DJ is always listen to music that you would never play. Because it teaches you what else is out there in the world.
Right.
And it triggers connections and synapses in your brain.
Epic.
It triggers new ideas. Because if you really want to be somebody, you've got to be unique. You've got to be distinctive. And you can't do that by doing what everybody else is doing.
Right. How do they go about getting their first gig in? Relatively speaking, for a decent club in India, what would your first paycheck potentially look like today? Right.
For someone who's starting off, the best thing that you could probably do is, of course, like I said, intern. And you will get your opportunities to play when the club is empty.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get those opportunities to play, you've got to play like you're playing in front of 1,000 people.
Right.
Because at some point in time, somebody's going to be listening to you. Either the bartender, who's like a music guru himself, will be listening to you and going, you know, that guy Shreyans, that music that he plays between 8 and 9 when there's nobody in the club.
Yeah.
Amazing. He tells somebody else, tells the bar manager, and then one day the main DJ falls ill, you get your shot. This is what I mean about being ready. You get your shot. You can't be like, oh, but you know, I haven't practiced. Let me do this again in 1 month's time and it'll be much better. You'll get a shot at that point in time. The other thing that you can do is go to any club or bar in your city. Ask them what is their worst night, where they make the least amount of money. So a place that does maybe 10 lakhs of business on a Saturday night might be doing 20,000 worth of business on a Monday night.
Right.
Take the Monday night from them. If you think your music is really that good, if you think you are that good, then you can convince 10 of your friends to come there on a Monday night.
Right.
And if 10 of your friends come there on a Monday night and they enjoy their music, then they might bring one friend each.
Right.
And your bar revenue will go from 20,000 to 30,000 on a Monday night.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think your music is that good, if you think you are that good as a DJ, then put your money where your mouth is and take the worst night. And I know a guy who did this and at one point in time ran the most successful night ever in India. Shreyans Chinapa, my brother from Bangalore, my cousin brother, but I call him my brother. Shreyans Chinapa at one point in time in Bangalore ran Monday nights at a club called Taika in Bangalore.
Right.
It was rammed on a Monday night. Rammed, completely rammed. It was the most successful night out of any club in India at that point in time.
While the growth in this category is happening, you also need to find a way to sustain yourself. Is this career going to make me money? Can I do, like, I don't know, when I start out, can I do 30,000 rupees a month?
Not if you have no experience.
Right.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. The journey to the 5 to 10,000, let's say everything leveraged, is me talking to the same club owner and saying, hey man, look, I'm bringing so many more people into your space.
No, it goes one step behind.
Okay.
It's you actually valuing yourself.
Right.
It's you actually saying, this is the value that I bring to the table. And you still have to do it as a nice guy. You can't be arrogant.
Yeah.
You still have to say, look, man, you were making 20 grand a night. You know? And by this time, you're friends with the manager, you're friends with the bartender, you know exactly how many vodkas they've sold, you know exactly how many plates of French fries they've sold, what the sale was when you first started, what the sale is now, right? You go to the club manager, the club owner and say, you were doing 20 grand, you're now doing 1 lakh. Okay, I need more to survive. The club owner is always going to say, piss off, you're not getting anything more. You've got to figure out how to negotiate that. There is no one route to doing it. But it starts with you valuing yourself and saying, look, if it's really impossible for you to increase my salary, then I'm going to try this somewhere else. Not like I'm going to take this. Like, I have to sustain. I'm earning 2,000 rupees a night. I need to get to 5,000 rupees a night. And if you can't do it for me, I've worked really hard. I'm sure your Mondays nights will continue to do well. I'll go to the second best club now.
Understood.
The third best club. And you go to the second best club and say, look what I did at club A. Can I do it at club B? But instead of 2,000, I want 5,000.
Got it.
And I'm pretty sure club B will look at it and go, I'll give you 5,000.
Fair enough.
I'm almost certain that club B will say, I will give you 5,000.
So an opening DJ today at a club on a Saturday night would be making how much according to you? Typically,
The opening DJ is usually the resident DJ of the club.
Right.
He's the guy who, the resident is an employee of the club. If you're a resident at the Ministry of Sound, you're probably getting a little more than the resident of a bar in Baipanalli.
That's fair.
I think as a resident, you could earn anything from 8,000 rupees a month up to 2.5 lakhs a month.
2.5 lakhs a month. Okay, got it. If I'm going to make 20 lakhs a night, How much am I willing to pay the DJ?
There are club owners who'll say, look, that DJ charges 1 lakh.
Yeah.
And let's say I make 20 lakhs in the night. By booking that DJ for 1 lakh, I could make 25, but I don't want to pay him 1 lakh. I'd still much rather work with my resident who I'm paying zero money to and make the 20.
Understood. 5 years in, what can I do a month? How much can I do a month?
You could be making 1 crore a month.
Wow.
Maybe 2, maybe 5. Depends on what you're playing. Depends who you're playing for.
Yeah.
Did the Ambanis invite you to the wedding?
Right.
Did you DJ there?
Right.
What did you charge?
Right.
So there are corporate DJs that play at events in Thailand, in Mauritius.
Right.
They get booked to play because of the relationships and contacts. You could basically make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Depending on the path that you choose.
Yeah.
But if you say, look, I'm not going to be doing, I'm not going to be taking the Paris Hilton route.
Right.
My suggestion to you would be to start an engaging conversation with people like Sound Avatar, DJ Skip, and the list is long.
Right.
There are loads of DJs who live in India, have worked in India, who started from nowhere and now have successful careers as DJs and producers in India.
Anything that people who are thinking about a career in the space, what should they watch?
There's a book called Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, which I think every DJ should make an attempt to read. And there's another book which is called Learn to DJ, in brackets, properly.
Right.
These are 2 titles, and they're both really brilliantly written and really hilarious, and it gives you a sense of perspective of where the music scene has come from,
Yeah.
and what you're a part of, and the culture that you're a part of.
Yeah.
And besides that, man, it's not so much about reading and watching. It's about just listening to sets, listening to artists, listening to people from all across the world. There's just so much music coming out every single day that you're never, ever, ever, ever going to touch even the tip of the iceberg.
I want to understand from the time that you receive the invite to play a gig to the time that you go on stage. What's the process?
So the booking normally goes to my team, my management. They usually give me what's called an itinerary sheet on a Friday, which tells me which plane I have to get onto
Right.
and who's going to pick me up at the other end. And I do that on a regular basis, but more often than not, I usually know where I'm playing. I mean, it's silly of me to pretend like I don't know where I'm playing or I'm wandering into the great unknown. I know where I am on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Sunday night. I've heard about the club. I know about the club. If I've played there before, then I won't usually do a sound check if it's not needed. If I haven't played there before, I'll do a sound check. If the club is known for a particular style of music or has a particular audience, then mentally I'm like, okay, here's what I might need to do on the night.
Right.
But I'll never pre-program a set. And there have been many cases where I'll walk into a club and go, this is not what I imagined. And you've got to completely change what you're going to do that night.
Right.
So there are multiple folders of music. I am one of the worst people when it comes to arranging music. I'd probably make a terrible chef because I'd never be able to find the salt. So I remember music sort of pictorially. So I'll know that there's a song that I want. I won't remember the name, but I'll kind of know it's in this folder from that year.
Right.
And I'll go looking for it. Whereas there are other people who will arrange their music meticulously in various folders. So they'll walk into a club and go, I thought I was going to play red music today, but the crowd looks sort of between green and purple. So now I've got to go to the green and purple folders and figure out how to craft a set for this audience on this night.
Right.
And they'd have all of that neatly laid out. I'm sort of more kamikaze that way.
Right. Right. What is the team around Nikhil look like? And what is everybody doing in the context of from the time that the invite has been received?
So my manager is a girl called Ankita who works at Submerge. Her email ID is on my Instagram page. So she usually gets calls or emails directly requesting for bookings. She checks the venue out. If it's a well-known venue, she has an initial conversation with them. Then I get a request saying that there's a request come for you for this gig. I check my calendar to make sure that there's nothing else scheduled on those dates. Then I say yes or no. They negotiate the fee. Then the flights get booked, the hotel gets confirmed, I go do the gig. After the gig, I try and post photos and videos.
Who's the highest paid in this industry?
So if a club books a DJ who charges, let's say, 1 lakh, and let's say they make 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, whatever their business, because they pay rent, they pay salaries, there's a cost of acquisition of alcohol, food, and so on and so forth. So let's say, for the sake of argument, somebody charges 1 lakh, club makes 10 lakhs, okay? Somebody else charges 5 lakhs. Is the club making 50? Maybe not. Maybe the club's making 20, okay? So why don't they do more of the one like DJs? Because more profitable,
Yeah.
theoretically speaking. There's many different reasons why you would book one DJ versus another. You want to try and create diversity in the kind of music that you're programming. Maybe there's a very popular person and there's only one of those people, let's say Miss Hilton was available. Then you say, okay, I know I'm going to make 10 lakhs on this night, but the DJ is charging 20 lakhs. Do I still want to do it? Some people will do it because they want to build their brand or establish their club in a competitive market in a particular territory. It's pretty much what the club makes will decide what the club wants to pay you. Also, it'll decide on what the club wants to negotiate. For example, if a club is really popular, they could be making 50 lakhs a month, a night. But because they're so popular, all the artists want to play there.
Right.
Best crowd, best videos, best visuals, great bragging rights. So artists will lower their fee to play those venues.
Fair enough. A DJ today would be making money of, I want to understand if there is 100 rupees that a DJ is making, what are the different streams of revenue for this DJ?
As a DJ, and I'm going to limit this to if you are someone who plays music. So we're cutting out you producing music, we're cutting out you managing clubs, we're cutting out you being someone who is fantastic at social media. Maybe you have another company that does graphic art and design and you're able to design posters. And because you're a DJ, you have an understanding of what a poster should look like. Therefore, you can do it faster than anybody else. Therefore, you get to make more posters, right? I'm cutting all of that out. So if you're making 100 rupees, all 100 rupees is coming from your salary of playing at a club.
Understood.
That's it. There's nothing else.
Got it.
But as you continue to work in this industry, you learn to work in other aspects of the industry and you can supplement your income by doing many other things that are connected to nightlife culture, club culture, DJing, events, people, and management.
Can you give me an example of that? Let's say that it is in the context of Nikhil. If there is 100 rupees that Nikhil is earning, what would be the breakup of the different revenue streams? And first question is, what are the different streams?
From DJing?
From DJing, yes.
From DJing, 100 rupees is fully 100 rupees. See, because the endorsement deal doesn't happen because of the DJing. The endorsement deal happens because of my social media following.
Right. Got it. So,
but besides that, there's consulting work that I do. I have a company called Submerge that manages other artists. We tour international DJs. We consult with brands to do activations and activities for them. As you know, I'm producing a Van Gogh show with some friends of mine that we're touring around the world. And I'm working with various companies in associated fields of live entertainment to help them better their businesses and to grow.
So there is a revenue stream of consulting because of your expertise in the world of live entertainment.
There's loads. Shreyans, like I said, the longer you spend time in this industry, like I said, once you start getting into nightlife and club culture, you'll figure out that there are ways to help move the bar along. There's ways to help market and promote the events. There are events that you could do on your own as an artist. There are clubs you can manage. There are other artists you can manage. There are artists from abroad that you can tour and you can make money off that. There's many associated fields that you could make money off in the live event space. And DJing could be a gateway into all of that.
Right. That's epic. You said like 7 things that you could potentially do as
there's probably 20
things.
More.
That is cool, because now for me, I'm thinking about it as how do I expand my view as somebody who is not just a DJ, but also somebody who is an expert of the live entertainment business in the country, and use that to my advantage, right?
But for most people, it'll depend on what they've picked up along the way, because you're not going to learn any of this in any college.
Right.
There's no MBA that teaches the live events industry per se.
So
you've got to pick up things on ticketing, marketing, your social media rollout, to make sure that you reach your target fan base in an effective manner. I mean, you've also understood that with under 25. When do you put something out? What do you say? How often do you say it? And how do you get that to spread through your community?
Right.
So you get to learn all of these things along the way, but in order to do that, you've got to keep your eyes and ears open.
What would be the 5 things that you would tell a young person in India today who is hoping to make a career being a DJ?
Well, usually the first thing that anybody in any career says to anybody wanting to start in their career is don't do it. Also applies to DJing.
Right.
And the reason for that is this. And the reason is actually very simple. It's something for everyone to reflect on. In order for you to excel in any field, as a podcaster, as a DJ, as a guitar player, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a chartered accountant, you have to be in the top 2 to 3% of the people in
Yeah.
that profession.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not going to find success. Okay.
Hmm.
In order to be in that top 2 to 3%, you need to have dogged determination.
Yeah.
And if you've got dogged determination, then it doesn't matter what career you choose,
Yeah.
you'll be successful.
Yeah.
Because dogged determination means the hustle, means observing, means chasing up, means doing all the dirty work, means doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
So anybody who wants to start off in this profession of being a DJ, if you've got the qualities of being determined in a dogged manner,
Yeah.
then by all means do it, because
Right.
that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time.
Right. Takes time, dogged determination. What else?
Keep your eyes and ears open.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to people who've been around for a while.
Right.
And actually take notes, even if they're
Yeah.
mental notes.
Yeah.
And always look for opportunity, man, because they're there. They're all around you.
Yeah.
There's always an opportunity to add value, to be a part of a team, to come up with an idea, make a suggestion.
Right.
But you've got to fact check yourself as well before you make those sort of suggestions to people.
Right.
Because some of them might have already been done before. You may think
Right.
it's a brilliant idea, but the industry's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Some of those ideas have been executed before. So I think it's important for you to do some research, read up about festivals, music events, DJs, their life stories, their life histories,
Yeah.
as much as you can. Make yourself as familiar with the field of live events, entertainment, music as possible.
Right.
And then just keep plugging away at buying music and making more sets and playing it out.
What would be some of the things as opportunities that would be important for them to look out for?
There's a lot of DJs who'll say the music scene has changed or it's become really crappy. It was so much better 2 years ago, 10 years ago. And I think they're all wrong. I think the best time to be involved in live events and music is now.
Right.
We're always better right now than we were 5 years ago,
Yeah.
whichever way you look at it. In order for the underground scene to thrive, you have to have a thriving mainstream scene. Okay? And you have to be able to read between the lines of both those scenes to be able to truly reach the full potential of where you want to be in your
Right.
chosen field. So the music scene is evolving, but it is still a great place to be in right now, right here.
And because you attend so many concerts and festivals all around the world, is there something that you are seeing as a trend that is coming to India?
I've been observing a global trend for the past 5 or 6 years, and you're definitely a part of it. It's driving culture. A lot of people for many years have spoken about experience. Let's build bigger stages. Let's bring these fantastic LEDs. Let's have these Spanish dancers and these fireworks. It's about the experience. People want the experience. People want the experience.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit at home and listen to an album on their stereo system. But I think experience is also now making way for culture, because not only do people want the experience, they also want to be with their clique,
Yeah.
their clan, their homies when they're engaging with their experience.
Right.
And I think that's a trend that's slowly going to start coming into India as well,
Yeah.
where beautifully curated events that drive culture for an intimate audience will start to see as much, if not more, success than the mega events.
When you started doing this, over a period of time, there was a very significant amount of relevance that got built as the brand Nikhil Chinapa. And if any young person watching this wants to know that they want to do this for 20 years, 30 years, and continue to do this for all their life, how do they sustain that relevance?
I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of the interview, Shreyans, which is you've got to observe the environment that you're living in and
Right.
try and figure out how to adapt without actually making a conscious move to adapt. Because I think people can sniff out being fake
Yeah.
pretty easily.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky to have kind of evolved over years from the time that I hosted a request show on MTV,
Yeah.
standing in front of a screen, playing videos from the Backstreet Boys and Celine Dion to where we are now. And I'm continuing to evolve.
Yeah.
I can't really pinpoint one thing that I did that helped me evolve. There was only one conscious decision that I made in that process was when I was hosting MTV Select, I used to wear like jeans and t-shirts. And then when I became a judge on roadies, I made the conscious effort to grow a stubble and wear a shirt because I wanted to create a different personality or a persona for that aspect of my career.
Right.
But besides that, I think I've also been really lucky to have been in the right place at the right time. But I also believe in the saying that people make their own luck. When opportunities have come about, you've kind of understood where you are and made moves to adapt.
Yeah.
And if you want to kind of make this into a bumper sticker, I think the bumper sticker would be listen, learn, and engage. I'd say this to brands, I'd say this to individuals, that if you're going to walk into a room and you're not a car enthusiast, but you love Ferraris, before you open your mind in a room full of car enthusiasts, listen, learn about the cars, and then engage with your passion for Ferrari.
Right.
So listen, learn, and engage. If you make this into a bumper sticker, it can apply to pretty much any profession, any person, anywhere on the planet.
A lot of people have the observation. They've not actually gone and executed on that observation. What's the thing that you think is lacking there between the observation and the execution?
It's doing the dirty work. You've got to try stuff. You said something earlier about how people today are not afraid of failing.
Yeah.
And some people want to be more risk averse, but other people are just happy to just go out there. And I think that's true of this generation, that people are happy to fail and fail fast, but you've also got a massive number of people who just want to sit back in their jobs, and they will change their jobs in a heartbeat if they're getting paid $1,000 more somewhere else.
Yeah.
They've got no idea where they're going with their lives, and their dream job is to be a YouTuber or to be a social media influencer.
Yeah.
And what they fail to see is that the best YouTubers and the best social media influencers on the planet are still in that top 2 or 3% of the game, and they've worked their asses off to be in that top 2 or 3%. So even if you want to be in a job that you can, from the outside world, looks cushy and looks easy, it actually isn't. You still need to kind of hustle and figure out how to get to that top 2 or 3%.
If I am a DJ, apart from playing at a club, how else or where else could I make money? Where else could I play as a DJ today?
Oh, DJs play in so many different events. Firstly, I would honestly recommend that everybody take up DJing as a hobby.
Right.
Because it is really satisfying and liberating to play mixes to your friends at home or even to yourself.
Right.
Like, get a small controller, get a small system, you can connect to your laptop, or you can play off USBs and just play music at home. Okay.
Right.
But a group of DJs that have my utmost respect are Indian wedding DJs. Man, these guys have to have a bank of knowledge of music from the 70s all the way till now.
Yeah.
And they sometimes end up standing and playing for 7-8 hours at a stretch. And in that 7-8 hours, they've got to make sense of music that has not only been recorded over different time periods, but also sounds differently because technology and audio quality has changed over time.
Yeah.
And most importantly, the uncle who's come from Sydney, you have to play his song.
Yeah.
The auntie who's come from Chicago, you've got to play her song.
Yeah.
The bridegroom's cousin who's come from Amsterdam, you've got to play their song. And you have to make, the amount of patience that those DJs have is ridiculous. But here's the thing. I have friends who, once you get into that clique, like let's say you're the DJ who plays Sindhi weddings in Abu Dhabi, you're playing all the Sindhi weddings in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
You're the DJ who's playing the Marwadi weddings in North India, man, you are making a crazy amount of money.
Right.
And also, again, I'll come back to my point, you can only do this if you're a nice guy.
Right.
Always be a nice guy. Okay?
Right.
Then there are corporate events. There are companies that have sort of team events and company events all across the world.
Yeah.
Whether you're having an event in Paris or in Barcelona or in Sydney or in Amsterdam, you want your music at night.
Yeah.
Right? So they always take a DJ from India. So there's corporate events you can play. There are corporate events in India that you can play. There's birthday parties, private events, club events. There's loads of different opportunities as a DJ. And they all require a slightly different skill set.
Right.
If you're a club DJ or if you're well-known, if you're, for example, Nuclear, or if you're Ritviz, if you're Blot, if you're Arjun Vagle, you're going to a club and you're buying a ticket because you say, I know what Arjun Vagle is going to play tonight. That's the music I'm going to listen to. Yeah. But if you're playing at a wedding, you have to have a completely different skill set.
Yeah.
And they're both equally challenging. What Arjun Vagle does is really challenging. What the wedding DJ does is just as challenging.
Got it. And which also leads me to the fact that if you are a DJ that is eventually going to expand into the entire gamut of live experiences or the live industry in India, what are the different things that you could do? Catapulting your journey from like just a DJ.
Oh, the world is literally your oyster.
Right.
Because once you've got your toehold into DJing,
yeah,
the whole world of the live events industry sort of opens up in front of you because you end up interacting with people who do events, who manage artists, who manage clubs and venues, who provide equipment and sound systems, who tour international artists. So you could get into any one of these fields. You could get into lighting and visuals. You could get into structures and trussing and production of venues. You could get into managing various clubs and various venues. You could get into managing different artists, set up a company and start booking your own DJs and doing your own tours. You could get into concept nights. You could do like theme parties. And like I said, you could literally go in any direction that you choose based on what you've picked up, who you've interacted with, what kind of connections you've made, who you've met, who you hit it off with, who you don't hit it off with.
Right. How does one go about finding their own sound? how do you say that this is authentic to me or isn't authentic to me? And how do you go about finding that?
Shreyans, there's only one person who can answer that question, and that's the artist themselves.
Right.
How does Coldplay do it? How does Metallica do it? How did Freddie Mercury do it at Queen? And I'm sure they were influenced by different people.
Yeah.
You know, Skrillex was influenced as well, and he's spoken about it. Zed was influenced by Skrillex.
Yeah.
Nuclear was also influenced by the bass sound that was around at that point in time. Ritviz is influenced. So there are influences that play into what you do, but eventually you kind of find a way of doing something, and then somebody up there says, here's a big slice of luck thrown at you, and then that song that you produce becomes a hit.
This 100 rupee, 1000 rupee, 10,000 rupee thing is so relevant to a student or anybody who's younger, because they're like, oh, okay, I could potentially enter any of these areas and I have this much to invest into my career. What should I do at 100 rupees? What should I do at 1000 rupees? And what should I do at 10,000 rupees?
Because most of what you need to learn to become a successful artist is free. Most of it is just about, you could take a course in music theory, but applying music theory is what makes it effective.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you don't even need to take a course in music theory. Sometimes you just have good ears and you can just kind of listen to it and go, well, that song doesn't go with this song. Why am I trying to mash it together? Sometimes you'll say, bro, first time ever, Gujarati music with drum and bass, which I think Bandish Project did, and they did well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work. And you have to have the courage to say that this thing that I'm trying to forcefully mash together is not working.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're the first person in the universe to try it out.
Right.
But having an understanding of what works and what doesn't work. Mick Jagger, vocalist of the Rolling Stones. I was reading Keith Richards' autobiography. Keith Richards is the guitarist of Rolling Stones. And Mick Jagger and Keith Richards wrote a lot of music for the Rolling Stones that they never performed as the Rolling Stones.
Right.
They were songwriters. They make money off the publishing of the songs, and they had other people sing those songs. Right. And in that interview, in the book that I was reading, Keith Richards says, or I don't know whether it was Mick Jagger, he said that as artists, when we worked together, we had an innate sense of what the song was supposed to do at that particular time. Whether the song was supposed to go or whether the song was supposed to go E. We had a sense of that. And that's how we wrote the music that we made. You have to have a sense of, if I'm producing music, what do I want the song to do now? Like, how do I think the dance floor is going to react to it? And you could plan it out beautifully and it could fail.
Right.
And something that you don't think about at all.
Yeah.
And you produce in 4 minutes.
It's going to blow up.
A global hit. It's like, how does that happen?
It's mind-blowing.
So what would you spend that 100 rupees on? I'd probably spend it on a really nice masala dosa and then watch YouTube videos and just like spend hours listening to music.
So that's interesting, right? So I love that. What would I watch on YouTube to make sense out of this? Like, would I be consuming like a playlist, or what would I be consuming to learn about this?
I would suggest, I would say try and learn a music instrument. A piano is great to understand how keys and chords work together.
Right.
Why a song works a certain way. Why when you put this song next to this song, even though you thought it would work, they clash. And why two other songs work so well together, it's almost like the songs are making love.
Yeah.
And knowing why that happens helps. It's like that subject that I did in year 2, theory of design. When I walk into a room, I know why the room is feeling cozy. I know why the room feels wrong. I know why the lighting is wrong, or why this color shade isn't working, or why the window's too big or too small.
Right.
You have an understanding of it. So I would really suggest that you kind of read up or watch tutorials on basic music theory, even if you don't fully absorb it, just to understand, why are the complementing chords for D, A, and G? Like, why does that happen? Why are the complementing chords for F, B, and C?
Yeah. Phenomenal. Nikhil, thank you so much for your time. And I really appreciate the fact that we could sit here and discuss what could potentially be useful for a lot of young India that is trying to enter the world of DJing, and then by virtue of that, hopefully enter more and more different areas in the live entertainment business. Thank you for sharing some of these things from all of your learnings, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. It's
amazing.
been a hot, sweaty afternoon, but I've enjoyed it, and I hope, it made some sense to somebody.